A billionaire storms the Supreme Court, defying a Chief Justice's warning. But the secret he unveils shocks the justices, exposes a conspiracy, and could change America's future forever. The Supreme Court chamber was a crucible of power, its marble columns and crimson curtains framing a drama that would shake the foundations of American justice. At its center stood Elon Musk, his tall frame commanding the room in a tailored charcoal suit, his piercing gaze unflinching under the weight of history. The 9 justices loomed above on their elevated bench, their expressions a volatile mix of skepticism, curiosity, and barely veiled indignation. Moments earlier, Chief Justice John Roberts had unleashed a verbal thunderbolt, his voice slicing through the tense silence. "Mr. Musk," he declared, each syllable a gavel's strike, "this court has already ruled on this matter. Your presence here today teeters on the edge of contempt." The packed gallery froze, a collective gasp swallowed by the chamber's gravity. Journalists' fingers danced furiously over phones, legal scholars whispered in disbelief, and the air crackled with anticipation. This wasn't just a court appearance, it was Elon Musk, the titan of tech, hurling a direct challenge at the nation's highest judicial authority. Musk stood resolute, his face a mask of calm defiance, clutching a sleek black leather portfolio that seemed to pulse with untold secrets. "Your Honor," he began, his voice steady, resonant, cutting through the charged silence. "What I'm about to reveal will upend everything this court believes about this case." With deliberate precision, he opened the portfolio, unveiling documents that would soon silence the chamber, stun the justices, and spark a firestorm that would reshape the relationship between America's innovators and its judicial system. This wasn't merely a legal skirmish, it was a battle for the soul of progress, a moment that could redefine justice in a digital age. Before we plunge into the heart of this electrifying confrontation, smash that like button, drop your location in the comments, and subscribe for more pulse-pounding stories of power, truth, and accountability that mainstream media won't touch. Now, let's dive into the saga of how Elon Musk faced down the Supreme Court and changed the game forever. The tension had been simmering for weeks, a slow burn that erupted into a conflagration on this fateful day. The case, United States versus Tesla Technologies, had begun as a seemingly routine regulatory dispute, but had metastasized into a constitutional colossus, probing the very limits of government power over innovation. At its core was a question that struck at the heart of America's future. Could laws written in the analog era shackle technologies that didn't exist when those statutes were penned? Elon Musk, at 53, was the unlikely warrior in this fight, a South African-born visionary whose empire spanned electric vehicles, space exploration, neural interfaces, and social media. His companies employed over 250,000 Americans. His innovations had propelled humanity toward the stars. Yet here he stood, battling not just a regulatory ruling, but the weight of judicial precedent itself. Across from him stood Solicitor General Eleanor Hayes, 62, a formidable adversary with gray-streaked hair and eyes that gleamed like steel behind thin-framed glasses. A.B. Career government lawyer, Hayes had argued before the Supreme Court 17 times, winning 14. Her meticulous, by-the-book approach, a stark contrast to Musk's maverick style. "Mr. Musk isn't above the law," she'd told reporters that morning, her words a gauntlet thrown down. "No matter how many rockets he launches or cars he builds, he must play by the same rules." Her statement, splashed across every major outlet, framed the day's clash as Musk's inevitable humbling. The stakes were astronomical. A loss for Musk would cripple Tesla's autonomous driving program, costing thousands of jobs and billions in value, while setting a precedent that could stifle innovation under outdated regulations. In the gallery sat Henry Thompson, 73, his weathered face etched with grief. His son, Jason, had died in a Tesla autopilot crash 3 years prior, the tragedy that sparked this legal maelstrom. Thompson's presence was a silent rebuke, his pain a human counterpoint to the technical and legal wrangling. Musk had prepared relentlessly, assembling a team of legal and technical virtuosos, but in a move that stunned even his own counsel, he insisted on presenting the pivotal evidence himself. Some truths, he'd told his team, must come straight from the source. As he faced the justices, the chamber held its breath. Roberts leaned forward, his voice stern. "Mr. Musk, you've been granted 5 minutes to present new evidence against this court's recommendation. Use it wisely." Musk nodded, his respect for the court unwavering, and began setting up his presentation with methodical calm. "Your Honors," he said, his voice clear and resolute, 3 years ago, Jason Thompson died in a tragic accident while driving a Tesla Model S. The initial investigation concluded that our autopilot system failed to detect an obstacle, leading to his death. He paused, his gaze locking with Henry Thompson's in the gallery, a moment of raw humanity amid the legal storm. "This tragedy is why we're here. It's the foundation of this case." Justice Elena Kagan interjected, her tone sharp as a blade. "Mr. Musk, we know the facts. The lower courts found your technology failed to meet Highway Safety Act standards." "With respect, Justice Kagan," Musk replied, his voice steady, "those rulings were based on incomplete information." He pressed a button, and a massive screen behind him blazed to life with intricate technical diagrams. Tesla vehicles generate over 100 gigabytes of data per hour. The initial investigation analyzed less than 1% of that data. Solicitor General Hayes rose, her voice cutting. "Objection. This is a rehash of technical details already examined by multiple courts." Roberts nodded, his expression stern. "Mr. Musk, the technical aspects of your vehicles have been thoroughly reviewed. Unless you have substantively new evidence, we won't revisit settled facts." The gallery stirred, whispers of doubt rippling through. Legal analysts exchanged glances, sensing Musk's gambit faltering, but Musk remained unshaken, his eyes burning with resolve. "Your Honor," he said, his voice now a quiet storm, "I'm not here to debate technical specifications." He clicked to a new slide, revealing fragments of computer code that seemed to pulse with menace. "I'm here because critical evidence was deliberately withheld from this court and every court before it." The chamber fell into a stunned hush, the weight of his words sinking in. Justice Amy Coney Barrett leaned forward, her voice laced with intrigue. "That's an extraordinary claim, Mr. Musk." "It is," Musk agreed, his tone unyielding, "and it demands extraordinary evidence." He clicked again, and security footage filled the screen. This is from Tesla's Palo Alto engineering facility, 1 week before Jason Thompson's accident. The grainy video showed 2 men entering at night using security badges. "These individuals," Musk continued, "are Alexei Petrov, a senior Tesla engineer, and Richard Chen, employed by a competitor." Justice Clarence Thomas interrupted, his voice measured. "Mr. Musk, industrial espionage, while serious, is irrelevant to this case." Musk's response was calm, devastating. "It's relevant, Your Honor, because they altered the autopilot code in the specific vehicle Jason Thompson drove." A murmur erupted, the gallery electrified. Hayes leapt to her feet. "Your Honor, this is absurd, a conspiracy theory to dodge accountability." Musk turned to her, his voice steady but piercing. "Ms. Hayes, did your experts review the vehicle's full code base, not just data logs, but the firmware itself?" Hayes hesitated, a fleeting crack in her composure. "They did not," Musk pressed, "because standard NTSB procedure doesn't include firmware analysis. They studied outputs, not the code running in real time." He clicked to a slide of timestamps and code repositories. "Our security team detected the breach 3 days after the accident. By then, the vehicle was impounded and we were barred from accessing it. Justice Sonia Sotomayor leaned forward, her tone probing. Mr. Musk, are you alleging deliberate tampering to cause an accident? Musk's eyes intensified, his voice unwavering. Not just tampering, Your Honor. We've identified the culprits, and we have evidence they acted under orders from a foreign government to sabotage American technological leadership. The courtroom exploded, journalists scrambling for the exits, the chamber descending into chaos. Roberts pounded his gavel, demanding order. Hayes, now visibly shaken, protested. This is outrageous! Mr. Musk is peddling fiction to evade responsibility. As the room quieted, Justice Samuel Alito spoke, his voice grave. Mr. Musk, these allegations exceed the scope of this regulatory case. Musk stood firm. They strike at its heart, Your Honor. You're asked to rule on whether Tesla's technology failed safety standards. That vehicle wasn't running our technology. It was running a sabotaged version. He clicked to a slide comparing code side by side. This is our standard autopilot code. This is what ran on Thompson's vehicle. The differences are subtle but catastrophic. Whispers spread among legal experts, the code's implications dawning. Henry Thompson stood abruptly, his voice breaking. Is this true? My son's death wasn't an accident? Roberts banged his gavel. Order, Mr. Thompson, be seated. But the human toll had collided with the technical, the gallery riveted. Musk met Thompson's gaze. Sir, I believe your son was the victim of something far worse than a technical failure, and I believe the government knew for at least 2 years. All eyes turned to Hayes, her face pale. Musk approached the evidence table, producing a sealed envelope. Your Honors, I request permission to submit this as Exhibit A. The clerk delivered it to Roberts, who examined its contents. His frown deepening. These appear to be internal DOJ memoranda, he said, passing copies to the justices. How did you obtain these, Mr. Musk? Musk's voice was steady. They came from a whistleblower in the DOJ's cyber division 3 weeks ago. They show the department identified code discrepancies in Thompson's vehicle 18 months ago, but pursued the case against Tesla regardless. The chamber was deathly silent, every eye on Hayes. Justice Kagan's voice was slow, deliberate. Ms. Hayes, were you aware of these findings? Hayes, her composure fraying, nodded. Yes, Your Honor, but they were preliminary and inconclusive. Musk clicked to a new slide, an email from Hayes's office. This, dated 14 months ago, reads, while technical analysis raises questions about autopilot integrity, pursuing the case against Tesla serves broader strategic interests. The President has prioritized tech accountability. The gallery erupted again, Hayes whispering frantically to her team. Thompson stood, moving toward the front until security intervened. Musk pressed on. Your Honor, the government pursued a flawed case, not for safety, but for political expediency. He clicked to a diagram of international connections. Our team traced the attack to Petrov and Chen, working for a foreign intelligence unit to undermine U.S. AI leadership. Justice Barrett interjected, her voice urgent. Mr. Musk, why wasn't this raised in lower courts? Musk's response was direct. We didn't have it then, Your Honor. The breach was so sophisticated our initial probes missed it. Only after similar attacks on newer vehicles did we connect the dots. He handed Roberts a sealed flash drive. This contains all evidence, firmware comparisons, logs, audits, verified by 3 independent cybersecurity firms. Roberts passed it to the clerk, his voice grave. This court will need time to review these materials. Justice Thomas addressed Hayes. Does the government dispute these documents' authenticity? Hayes, after consulting her team, replied, We cannot confirm or deny without review, Your Honor. If authentic, their release breaches security protocols. Thomas's voice hardened. I'm more concerned with the implication that the government pursued a case while holding exculpatory evidence. Musk stepped to the center. Your Honors, I'm not asking for a national security ruling. I'm asking you to see that the case against Tesla rests on manipulated evidence and prosecutorial overreach. He gestured to Thompson. Mr. Thompson deserves justice. We all want safer roads, but punishing innovation for a foreign attack serves no one. Musk's voice softened, a rare vulnerability breaking through. Jason Thompson didn't die because autonomous tech is unsafe. He died because America's leadership made us a target. The answer isn't to shackle our companies, it's to fortify our defenses. The chamber was silent, the justices exchanging glances. Roberts spoke, his tone solemn. This court will recess to review this evidence. Mr. Musk, remain available. Ms. Hayes, we expect full cooperation. He paused, his gaze piercing. If these documents are authentic, there will be consequences for withholding them. As the justices exited, the gallery exploded, journalists racing to break the story. Musk gathered his materials, his eyes meeting. Thompson's in a moment of shared resolve. This wasn't just about Tesla, it was about justice itself. Within hours, the story detonated across media. Musk vs. Supreme Court and Tesla sabotage trending globally. Cable networks scrapped schedules for wall-to-wall coverage. Senator James Carlton announced emergency DOJ hearings, calling the allegations a prosecutorial scandal. The White House's vague support for the DOJ buckled under pressure, with congressional probes launched. The DOJ's Inspector General confirmed an internal review, and Roberts issued a rare statement, vowing to treat Musk's evidence with utmost seriousness. At Tesla's Austin headquarters, employees cheered Musk's return, his words ringing out. This wasn't about winning, it was about truth. Social media erupted. Tesla owners defending safety records, cybersecurity experts validating Musk's claims. Henry Thompson's tearful 60 Minutes interview, admitting his misjudgment of Tesla, went viral, fueling calls for accountability. The story grew when Richard Chen vanished, FBI agents swarming his home. Legal scholars like Harvard's Martha Steinberg hailed Musk's challenge as a turning point for regulating emerging tech. Markets surged, Tesla's stock soaring 28%. The Supreme Court's special session the next day underscored the case's urgency, a historic move. As cracks appeared in the government's facade, Hayes' absence from public view fueled speculation. The FBI's vague acknowledgement of a foreign interference probe tied to the case added fuel. Tech forums dissected Musk's code snippets, experts confirming their catastrophic intent. Thompson's pain became the saga's heart, his words echoing. My son was targeted, and the truth was hidden. Musk's sole statement was defiant. This was about whether America champions innovation or bows to fear. I trust the court will choose the future. The confrontation reshaped the tech justice nexus. Musk's stand a clarion call for truth. Like, subscribe, and comment. Was Musk right to defy the court? Join us for more battles shaping America's destiny.